Hey, what's going on, Mathew? Tamin here. I'm excited to start this new series of live training exclusively just for members. So if you're not a member, consider becoming a member. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is I get tons of questions from you guys, and these are questions that I don't know what's half the time to go into to answer. Sometimes it requires a lot more stuff to do. So what I've decided to do after thinking about it and looking at the analytics is, you guys have tons of great questions and you need help. You want to build websites, whether it's with Joomla, and you want to learn how to get it done right. So this is going to be dedicated to the members only. I'm not making this available to the public, and I'm going to be sharing with you some really detailed things that I don't put out there for the general public, because I appreciate you supporting this channel. It's so much work to create these videos. It takes so much amount of time to create the courses, to put on here for you guys for free for you to watch. So membership is a great way to kind of offset some of that. But I wanted to talk to you guys, and what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more throughout the rest of the week and, upcoming days. And I'm going to be showing you guys what I'm working on, how I build my websites, what systems do I have in place, and all that stuff. So if you're new to creating a website and you're trying to figure things out, I'm going to be teaching you step by step. And the beautiful thing about this live is that you can ask any question. I'm going to make sure that I get all those questions answered for you. So today, I want to talk to you about how do you make $5,000 creating simple websites, with Joomla. Now, I'm going to be sharing how to use Joomla and other tools as well, but primarily to show you how to be able to use the knowledge of Joomla and to kind of go from there. Um, so, backstory, before I share that with you, I started creating websites with Joomla back in 2006. I heard about other platforms. I actually started with HTML, CSS, but then I realized that, man, creating a website with HTML, CSS took a lot of time to build. Back then it was the Dreamweaver, and it wasn't really what it is now, with the content management system, the drag and drop. So it was more hands-on back then. But I learned something though, I learned the basics of coding. I learned how to build a page with just pure coding. I learned JavaScript, I learned Python, I learned CSS, HTML, and all those are the things that later on helped me down the line. Now, if you want to just I would encourage you to just, if you have the time to, you don't necessarily have to, but if you have the time to, just kind of poke around some JavaScripts. Like, they have courses there for you to just see, just JavaScripts, Python, and, things like that. But again, you don't have to if you don't want to. So when I started, I remember I was working at this place. I just had my daughter was just born. I was working at a treatment center. Wasn't getting paid that much, but it was just, hey, I graduated college with a psychology and a music degree. And I used to play the piano for churches, for special events. So my daughter was born, and I went to the office, I think she was like a few days old. I went into the office, and they said they needed to talk to me, and they let me go. And there I was, a daughter that's like a few months old. Literally, I think she was probably maybe 3 months old, something like that. A family that I got to support. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I had learned about Joomla before, and I'm like, you know what, let me just jump on and see what I can do. So I went on a freelancing website called guru.com. I haven't been on there for years now. I'm not even sure I'm sure it's still probably there. But I just started applying, like I was just posting for different projects. And eventually I was able to get this one project. It was a company that sell pantyhose for women, hosiery for women. And I was excited. They said they were going to pay me $500 to build a website for them. They had a web designer, but the guy, he really wasn't versed, in Joomla, and they used Joomla for their site. He really wasn't up with Joomla like that. He knew some stuff, but I knew a little bit more than him, because I used to spend so much time just building any and everything I could build with Joomla. So they paid me the 500. I needed to pay. My rent was like 750 at the time, and but I was able to use that to go towards the rent, and it kind of helped a little bit. That just unlocked so much for me, and I was just like, wow, you could actually build simple websites with Joomla, just drag and drop. I mean, it wasn't much drag and drop back then, but it was so simple. Maybe you're in a position right now, look, with the state of this economy all over the world, um, people looking to build websites online. They're looking to get online. There's so many clients out there. They don't know how to build websites. They just need someone to build a simple website. Do it for them, right? So I want to kind of help you guys. Um, if you're looking to generate, whether it's 500 or it's 5,000, um, online, just creating websites, there's some key things that you need to understand. And I want to help you understand what those things are so you can kind of get the ball with it. Um, so the first thing is you want to learn as much of Joomla as possible, right? Because there are tons of other content management systems out there. And Joomla for me gave me a lot of flexibility. It gave me flexibility because you don't have to be a coder. But if you can look at my channel, I have almost over 1,200 videos that I dedicate just for Joomla. So you can go in there and just learn as much as you can, right? Um, there's still going to be some things that may not be as clear to you. And that's why this membership section is for that. As a member, you can ask me questions. Maybe you're working on a project, you're using one of the extensions that I've showed you how to use and it's not working. But learn the core things about Joomla. So learn the back end of Joomla. I have trainings here that go through the details about the back end and the front end, how Joomla works. If you can just learn that, because that is going to be the core. Every extension that you're going to use is based off of understanding how the back end of Joomla works, right? So extensions are just plugins, things you add to enhance your website. But in order for you to use extensions, you need Joomla. So learn what Joomla is. Like on the back end, they have all the menus, the navigation system. I have courses that goes through all of that, right? If you can learn the core of Joomla, then you're like 90% of the way there. Really, the other 10% is stuff that I'm going to show you. So once you learn that part of it, then that makes things a lot easier now. Now, the beautiful thing about content management system is that when you understand and know what you're doing, you can literally, and I've done this before, I'm not telling you guys nothing I haven't done. You can literally build a high quality website that will take someone else weeks and if not months to build, literally in a few days to build it. I remember when I was working for this company a few years ago. This company they generated about 50 million in revenue every year, but their website was crappy. It was terrible. I think their website was built back in like 2006 or something or whatever, and it was horrible. So when they hired me, I came on board to build a website for them, and I was able to build the whole website in less than 2 weeks. Now, the reason why it took 2 weeks, because when you work with corporate, you got to work with different departments. You got to contact this one. You got to get approval for this. So that's the reason why it took over 2-3 weeks to build. But the actual time that I spent on there, it wasn't that long. Amazing thing is that they were shocked. Like, how come you're able to build this full functional website? And they had a lot of images. It had like 15 pages. How come you're able to build this website in a record time? They didn't know how that could be done, because usually when you build a website, you need a graphic designer, a developer, a project manager, you need so many different people that's going to be managing different parts of it. But I was able to do everything by myself with Joomla. Joomla was my secret weapon that I used. So I had meetings with the CEOs and the CFOs, and again, this particular company was part of a larger company. The larger company made over $230 million per year. So being able to work on a website for a company that was making over $200 million per year was just like a great honor for me. They entrusted me, my expertise, whatever I told them to do. Like I did the project from scratch. So I met with someone in another department that I had to work with, and they did a draft, like a mock-up or whatever, on just patch different designs and then email it to me. I was able to use that to build a website over, and they were really impressed with it. And the site is still up even to this day. And I made a pretty good amount from just building that website, and again, it didn't take me that much. So it's definitely possible for you to make 5,000, 10,000 or more building a website. So first thing is learn how to use Joomla. There's a ton of other platforms out there, but since you're going to be getting support, you want to use a platform that you can get support from, right? And that's what makes my channel different, is I do Joomla every day. It's not something that I heard about or have a third party, or no, I'm the one that create the websites by myself. So I don't have a middleman, right? And I learned this lesson the hard way. I remember in 2008 or so, I think around there, I'm not sure. I wanted to, build a new website. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have the time. Let me hire someone to do it. So I hired an offshore company to do it. And I realized that, man, I wasn't really getting what I wanted, right? And there's a point where I needed to get updates. It'd take forever. I'm like, this crazy. And what even topped it up for me, I had a client. This client was paying me, they paid me, I forget how much they were paying me, but it was a good money for me to build a full functional website. So I hired a designer and a developer to work on the site with me. Man, I learned a hard lesson. I gave him the project, but yet when it was time for me to get updates to update the client, because I was a middleman, back then, I gave him the project. The date that I had a meeting with the client, I reached out to this designer developer. They said, with Joomla, I couldn't get in touch with them. I was like, oh my goodness. I have a meeting with this client and I can't really get an update about that project. But anyway, make a long story short, I ended up losing that client, which is like a $10,000 client. I ended up losing that client. Man, that hurt. That hurt, because at that point I could have really used the money that I was making from that project. But I made a decision that I will never ever let anyone have that much power over my income, So when I learned to do the websites, I was able to take those clients on myself. So once you learn Joomla, you're more than halfway there. Next, you want to build your website. Build a quality website. Listen to me. You want to build something that looks quality, looks solid. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is once you understand how Joomla works, you can use one of the page builders. And I'm going to do another training that I go extensively into SP Page Builder, Gridbox, and Helix, and all that other stuff just for the members. So I learned how to use SP Page Builder because that was one of the first ones to come out. So I used to create a ton of free tutorials that you can check on my channel. So they reached out to me. They reached out to me to build a course and put on Udemy. So I created a free course. Again, after learning Joomla, I created a free course for them on Udemy. Got something in my eye here. On Udemy. And that course, within a month or so, had over 5,000 people sign up for it. 5,000 people signed up for that course. It was a massive success, and it was out there for free. And people would go there to learn and how to use it. So that opened up so much door for me because I was the expert and the go-to person. People were reaching out to me, hey, could you, build my website? I need to do this. So that opened up a lot of opportunities for me. So I used that skill set to build my own website. And when people go on there, they'll see that the website is quality. So you want to book quality. So what I did was this with my website. I looked at a few other sites that I liked, right? Whether it was the design, whether it was the color scheme, but I did research to see that the type of flow, the type of style that I want, because you have to develop your own style as a web designer. When you look at the projects that I work on, they have a similar look. So that's something that I can work with you on to develop your own style. So when you build something, people are like, you know what, that's so and so's work. So when I build a website, I got quality pictures. There are websites that you can be able to download free, um, royalty free photos, quality. Again, I cannot overemphasize the importance of having a quality website for yourself because that is going to be a representation of you. I've gotten projects from people just looking at my website. They can tell quality when they see one. And you can even right now, you can check out my website, MathewTamin.com, right? I'm still working on it, but I'm going to show you guys throughout this training what I'm doing, how I'm building it, why I'm using certain color schemes, and all those things work. So you can check out my website. I'm going to put it right now in the chat. So you can see. I had to redesign it from scratch again. Um, so I had to redesign the website because I changed server, and then when I upload the new website, it really didn't work like it should have worked. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just kind of go, just kind of restart from scratch, which was okay. So I built my own website. This is going to be a defining moment for you. So with your website, you need just a few pages to get started. If you want to do like a one-page landing page, but you got to get the key information about you, about what you're offering, and then your pricing, which I'm going to do another video later on to go over pricing. Pricing is so vital if you want to make money in this game. You have to understand how pricing works. You can't overprice. If you overprice, you won't get anyone. If you're underpriced, you get low quality clients. And I got a whole lot of low quality clients in the beginning that it was frustrating, right? It was frustrating. So as you're building your website, you want to keep it simple. Keep your website simple. Don't try to do so many different colors, different fonts. I would recommend that as you're starting off, you can have just a one page about what you do, right? And I can break that down later on, but you want just one page about what you do, your services, your pricing, your contact, and a contact form so they can contact you on there. If you look at my website right now, it's very simple. I go over that later on so you guys can see what I'm doing, how you can implement that on your end as well. So, So how do you find clients? So I mentioned before, I wanted a freelancing website. I don't do that much now anymore. I have people reach out to me. But I used to go on freelancing website. The challenge with freelancing website, you have like the Fivers, the Guru, the freelancer.com. I haven't been on that in a long time. I think Elance or something like that. The challenge with that is you're competing with other offshore designers that they're willing to charge super low. When they charge super low, the quality may not be great, but then they end up getting the projects. That's one way to do that. But another way that I realize is just through social media and putting your stuff out there. You building a community. Just like I'm building a community with you guys now, you can be able to utilize your website to build a community, how to attract the right type of client, how to word things, how do you write a proposal, right? So when you tell people what you do and they reach out to you, And how do you come up with the pricing for that? How do you determine what price to get? How do you talk to clients about your pricing, right? So these are different things that you need to understand how to be able to put in place. You know, I remember when I got my first $5,000 project, website. It was an e-commerce website. Met the guy, spoke with them. I'm not sure how we got connected, whether it's through um, I don't know if I'm not really sure, but he had a business and he wanted to build a website or actually redesign his website. His existing website was terrible. I looked at it, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's bad. So I went over, I pitched him. I went into his office and I pitched him a $5,000 package up front, not no partial payments. He wrote me a check for $5,000 up front to build a website for him. And I think I did like another commercial or stuff, but the most part of it was the website. So I built a website for him, and literally I got the check up front. Within a few days, the website was up and gone, and it was really great quality. Um, so those really help, right? That really helped out a whole lot. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I see so many people starting out. Oh, what if I mess up? What if I get it wrong? You're going to get it wrong. You won't always get it right. And that's where I come in. I'm able to come in and to say, okay, I'll help you figure some things out, and if you want to hire me for a little more extensive work, that's fine as well. But don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. When I started, like, you guys have my videos now to watch. When I started, man, there wasn't much out there at all. I had to learn from the School of Hard Knocks, which meant that I made so many mistakes. I mean, I was downloading just about every template that I could find in Joomla. And they didn't have that many back then. So I'll download it, work on it, edit the template, download a different one. I built so many sites. And that's another thing too, is once you understand how Joomla works, then I encourage you to download some free templates from providers. Even if you're not a member, you can download different free templates and then just kind of look through it and see how the template structure is. I have stuff on this channel that you can look at the Helix. I kind of went through some of that, but I'm going to go through some more details with the members again, so they can be able to see how that works, right? So once I was able to build that, then with the quality websites, when I put that out on social media, man, it was a lot easier for me to get quality clients. Now, if you want to target those low bar $200 clients and 300, 500, you can target them. But let me tell you, it's not worth it, because the amount of work that they're going to give you and what they want back from you is going to be so much more than what they're paying for. So I had to learn the hard way. There were times when, when I was doing freelancing stuff, when I started, I get like 7 or 8 projects that were bringing a lot of money, but man, I couldn't meet up, because what the demand for what they were paying, some clients would pay you $200 and they wanted a website for $6,000. I'm like, that's just not going to work. They wanted the bells, the whistles, and all those things. I'm like, you pay me $200-300 and you want me to build a website for $5-6 grand? I'm like, that's not going to work. So I learned a lot from the School of Hard Knocks, and it was something that I'm like, I can't charge below a certain amount anymore. Like, I got to charge at this. But if you're getting started right, there's a certain way that you can charge, and you can kind of, upgrade in your skill set. Once you learn, as you improve, you get better, then people can tell by the quality of work. I can look at a website someone designed. I can let you know their skill level. Right? There's certain things that I just look at it and I'm like, okay, this person, they're beginner, they're intermediate, or they're real pro like myself. There's some key things that I'm going to show you as a member of this site. I'm going to show you the key things to pay attention to. If you want your website to have that pro touch, and you can go to like with the corporate companies, you can see that their website have a pro touch to it. And having a pro touch can make you charge more. You can charge so much more for that pro touch. But I'm gonna go over later on what that looks like, and I'll be demonstrating here with you. But I wanted to just kind of do this first introductory video to let you guys know that it is possible for you to charge 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 or more creating just simple websites. Now with the drag and drop era and with AI, man, that just takes things to another level that I'm gonna work with you to show you how can you utilize AI. That's like a whole new video in itself. How do you use AI to build websites a lot faster? You know, you can you can do that. Excuse me. So I look forward to working with you guys in this new system that I'm implementing because I want to connect with you. And I'm also working on the different times for the live chat that works better for for you guys. If I notice that like 8 o'clock works better, then I'll do 8. If 9 o'clock or afternoons to evening, because I want to be able to make sure I get your questions answered. Okay, so if you have a question, please feel free to leave the question in the chat. I'm going to get to it. This is going to help me to determine what you guys want to learn about. Okay, you want to learn whatever you want to learn about, leave a question or comment or something in the chat, and I will go over that and kind of break that down for you. But you can definitely make a lot of money with this building websites, especially in this economy. You know, people looking for sites, and you can charge them a pretty decent amount to make websites for them, you know, in literally in 1 hour, right? So it's definitely possible. It's definitely easy to get that done. So I look forward to seeing you guys again on another chat, which is going to dive a little deeper into more strategies, you know, and whatever questions you have, I'm here to help you. Have a good day.